Welcome everyone to Monday Morning Morons for September 4th, 2017. This week there were two big stories that kind of dominated the news cycle. Both of them disasters depending on your point of view, but let's have a few laughs first. Bob brought me what I think is this week's Darwin Award for activism. Bull Gore's anti-bullfighting activist who jumped into French arena. An anti-bullfighting activist protesting the gory sport on Sunday was attacked by a bull when he jumped into a French arena in an attempt to protect the animal.
And isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
I would have thought this wouldn't need to be said, but for all those vegan activists out there, bulls aren't cute, fluffy little kittens, especially the ones at bullfighting events. While this might look pleasurable to some of you, I'm almost 100% sure it isn't. Protest all you like, but stay out of the ring, you morons. We'll go from irony to just plain stupidity this week. Health professionals report cases where people put sunscreen on their eyeballs to watch eclipse. Cases in both California and Virginia, both states that voted for Clinton in 2016. Coincidence? Yeah, probably. Okay, that's enough dicking around this week. Let's get to this week's big stories. First of which was Hurricane Harvey that slammed into the Texas coast and dumped the ocean on Houston. Tons of damage, biblical flooding. Death toll is 30 at the time of recording this, but is expected to rise as the floodwaters recede and search and recovery efforts continue. Seriously catastrophic damage to the third largest city in America that's going to have lasting effects for tens of thousands of people. So of course, our so-called leaders have to play politics. Representative King, New York won't abandon Texas despite hypocrite Ted Cruz. Never let a good disaster go to waste, folks. While the people are dying, suffering, and losing everything, score yourself some political points by declaring your enemy is a hypocrite. Puff out your chest and boldly claim that you could do the same thing he did, but you're the better man, so you won't. Then, with a straight face, declare that he was the one playing politics with a crisis. Yay for leaders, hey? Supposedly America's best and brightest. The kind of folks that really represent the American spirit, huh? Republicans or Democrats, folks, it doesn't matter. They're all self-centered, egotistical assholes, more interested in their power over you than they are about your well-being. After all, if you died, well, you can't vote for me anymore, so fuck you. Who cares, right? And then, of course, despite his best efforts to do the right thing and reassure people that the federal government was going to help, the media just couldn't bring themselves to say anything nice about Trump or his response. Trump strikes positive tone on Harvey before damage known. Note that this article was written on Monday, while the rains were still falling and the water in Houston was still rising. That'll be an important thing to remember as we go through this one. Trump's tweets, often punctuated with exclamation marks, sent in his characteristically rapid-fire manner, showcased publicly his engagement in the devastating storm. But they left out the fact that Texas could be battered with rain and see dangerous flooding for days, and that the storm's devastation will be felt for weeks, or perhaps years. Oh, did they? What's this tweet that you quoted in the sentence right before this fucking drivel? Continuing rains and flash floods are being dealt with, thousands rescued, he added. Well, gosh, I don't know about you, but sounds to me like he just acknowledged that the fucking disaster was still happening, you partisan hack. Further comments later, he acknowledged that this was an unprecedented disaster and much larger in scope than anyone anticipated. The rainfall itself set a damn record in the continental US for fuck's sake, meaning this much rain has never fallen this fast before. Oh wait, what's this? With the full damage wrought by Harvey still not known, and unlikely to be known for some time, and this being one of the first significant domestic crises the Trump White House has been met with, the president's response has been closely watched. It offered little detail as to what federal assistance could be provided to help Texas and Louisiana respond to the hurricane, nor did it acknowledge that there could be significant loss of life. Ah, so you already knew that, huh? Here's a little reality check for you, Juana Summers. You can't be specific about a fucking disaster relief and recovery until the damn thing is over. How many lives were lost? No one knows yet. How much damage was done? No one knows yet. What exactly is the federal government going to do to fix the problem? Nobody fucking knows yet. They can't give you specifics until they know the extent of the damn damage, you fucking idiotic babbling retard. Trump chose to strike a positive note with the public, focusing on good things happening in a shitty situation. People already suffering don't need more depressing news piled on their shoulders, you dipshit. What should he have said to reassure people, huh? Hey, folks, I know you're suffering. I know you're struggling to get to safety and salvage what you can in this disaster, but just wanted to take this opportunity to point out to you that your house is underwater, all your belongings are lost, some of your neighbors are very likely dead, so have a drink because it's not going to get any better for a long, long time. Yeah, that'd do it. I can just see the parties breaking out after that, you fucking despicable harpy. You just can't bring yourself to say anything positive about that man, can you? At this point, he could single-handedly drain all the water out of Houston, rebuild every home and building for free in one day, buy every resident a new car, cure cancer in the afternoon, and CNN will run the headline, "Trump's Nazi Recovery." All the homes he built are white, and he paved the roads black. That fucking racist! The desperation of your network is both hilariously sad and exhausting to deal with. At least one person over there has some fucking sense. Of course, she probably lost her job right after publishing this. Can't let common fucking sense return to CNN, now can we? Instead, let's bitch about how Trump is attacking us. We're the victims here. Put aside reason and objectivity. Stop thinking and feel sorry for us, damn it. Trump is taking his anti-press tirades to new levels in an audacious and unrelenting campaign to delegitimize and demonize the media. In the process, he's denting the long-time international view of the United States as the uncompromising champion of freedom of the press. Tom Rosenstiel, executive director of the American Press Institute, says the consensus abroad has become more like, "You are no longer the shining city on the hill." No. Trump is exposing how biased the press has become. They no longer care about accuracy or objectivity. They only care about spinning a narrative to suit themselves. They no longer want to inform public opinion. They want to control it.
He could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
And no, Mr. Rosenstiel, we are not the shining city on the hill. We haven't been for quite some time. Trump didn't make that happen. He just pulled the fucking blinders off and showed you some bitter reality. Instead of focusing your ire on Trump, maybe you dumbasses would be better off fixing the fucking problem he pointed out. There's a novel idea. Let's move on to the other big story of the week. 5 assaulted at Berkeley protests as black-clad anarchists storm right-wing rally. Now, this particular story isn't really the big news of the week. Antifa busts in on a rally and starts assaulting people who don't agree with them. At this point, that bit isn't really a surprise to any of us who actually pay attention. They've been doing that shit for a long time now. No, the big news is how it backfired on them, and the mainstream media is finally forced to admit what these assholes really are. Trevor Noah gave them a new nickname as he finally condemned them. The Guardian wants to pretend these guys are not part of their anti-Trump party, though I guess it's at least nice that they've come forward and admitted that they're not a news agency, just anti-Trumpers, as though we didn't already know that. The Washington Post correctly points out they are no better than the dumb fucks they say they oppose, and even establishment Democrats are finally starting to be shamed into speaking up. Better late than never, eh, folks? Welcome to the party. It's a little place the rest of us like to call reality. Glad you could join us. Of course, Every single one of these politicians and news agencies are trying to separate themselves from these ass clowns. That's not us. That's not the left. Yeah, horseshit. It's too fucking late for that crap. Just 2 weeks ago, you were the same fuckers insisting that the violence in Charlottesville was all on one side of the aisle. You spent days bashing Trump for even daring to mention that there's blame on both sides. You insisted that we just totally ignore everyone and everything else except the Nazis and white supremacists. They're the only reason this shit happens. Remember? Well, fuck you all. Time to pay the fiddler. Antifa is your monster. You created it in our universities with your anti-American classes. You fed it with your everything is racist, sexist, homophobic, and everyone's a bigot headlines. You unleashed it with your Trump is a racist, xenophobic, fascist rhetoric. You covered for it in Berkeley, Charlottesville, San Francisco, hell, Hamburg, Germany. You thought it was completely justified reaction to right-wing extremism until these black-clad cowards turned on you. Well, too late now, fuckers. They are showing you where your fucking rhetoric leads. This is what your bullshit ideology creates. They are the left. They are what the left has become. And until you get your heads out of your asses, quit perpetrating bullshit feels masquerading as science, and start dealing with reality instead of fictional victim complexes, you are going to get more of them. You have driven your ship so far to the left that liberal is now a centrist position, for fuck's sake. It's time to clean up your own house, dipshits. Sort this shit out and get your asses back on course, because you're making conservatives sound fucking reasonable at this point. Let's wrap this up with your weekly dose of toxic masculinity. A woman is now charged in the homicide of an infant on Milwaukee's northwest side. The accused is 37-year-old Claudette Mitchell. She has been charged with first-degree reckless homicide. According to the criminal complaint, police say 7-week-old Savea Reed was found unresponsive at a daycare near 77th and Villiard Tuesday afternoon, August 22nd. The complaint indicates emergency responders noticed blood in Reed's airway, a bruise in the shape of a thumbprint on her chest, and scratches and bruising on her head. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner conducted an autopsy of Reed. Officials ruled the infant died from blunt force trauma to the head. The complaint says Reed had multiple contusions and abrasions to the right and left side of her face, the forehead, nose, and cheek. Savea Reed's body also had bruising to the abdomen. An internal examination revealed multiple, too numerous to count, skull fractures. According to the criminal complaint, Mitchell said she was the only adult who had cared for the infant that day. Obviously, that woman suffered from internalized masculinity. Because remember, folks, masculinity is violent and aggressive. Femininity is loving, caring, and nurturing. Remind me, who is perpetrating stereotypical gender roles again? Thanks for joining me this week, folks. I'll see you all next time.